The subcommittee on finance is now called to order. For this morning, we will be hearing the following budgets for the following agencies: Civil Service Commission, Career Executive Service Board, and the Presidential Communications Operations Office. Anyway, we will, as requested, we will proceed with the less contentious agencies, I hope. So the chair would like to recognize Alicia de la Rosa Barak, the chairperson of the Civil Service Commission. If you have any presentation, ma'am, you now have the floor.
Thank you very much, Senator Ejercito, the chairperson of the Finance Committee F, Senate of the Philippines. But before, sir, can I present the other members of the commission?
Before you proceed, sorry, I'd just like to ask the Secretary to please recognize the resource persons present for the day.
Yes, good morning, everyone. For the record, this committee would like to recognize the representative of the following agency. From the Civil Service Commission, we have Ms. Alicia de la Rosa Bala, the chairperson, the Commissioner Robert S. Martinez, Commissioner Leopoldo Valderosa, Assistant Commissioner Ariel Ronquillo, Assistant Commissioner David Cabana Jr., Executive Director for Arthur Luis Florentin. From the Career Executive Service Board, we have Attorney Maria Antoinette Velasco Alones, the Executive Director, Ms. Jocelyn La Chica, the Chief Finance and Administrative Division. Then we have from the Presidential Communication Operations Office, we have, they're not yet here, sir. Secretary, so probably.
Okay, thank you. Please, Chairperson Bala, please go ahead with your presentation.
On behalf of the officials and employees of the Civil Service Commission and the CS Board, I thank you for the opportunity to present before this body our budget proposal for fiscal year 2018. Our presentation, the outline includes the following. First, we will be presenting the Civil Service Commission's alignment with the 2016-2022 Philippine Development Plan as part of the overall Ambition 2040, our significant accomplishments in 2016 and the first semester of 2017, including the status of releases of funds, and finally our plans, programs, projects, and activities for 2018. Let me share with you how the CSC relates to the Philippine Development Plan. Under Chapter 5, the PDP is a subsector goal of ensuring people-centered and efficient governance. Related to this, the CSC operates towards meeting its mission of gawing lingkod bayani ang bawat kawani and achieve its organizational vision of becoming a globally acknowledged center of excellence for strategic human resource and organization development by 2030. Our key strategies, programs, and projects are geared toward the subsector outcomes, which are corruption reduced, seamless service delivery achieved, administrative governance enhanced, citizenry fully engaged and empowered, and civil service is strengthened. Some of our notable programs that are related to this subsector goals are cases adjudication, public service values program, promotion of transparency and accountability, and deter corruption in the civil service through the anti-red tape program, the program to institutionalize meritocracy and excellence in human resource management, or the PRIME HRM, the strategic performance management system, or the SPMS, appointment processing, conduct of examination, public sector unionism, rewards and recognition, learning and development programs, smoke-free civil service, and mandatory random drug tests for officials and employees in the civil service. We also inform that the CSC is pushing for the revitalization of the Civil Service Academy consistent with PD 2018 establishing a civil service academy to implement centralized training programs for the civil service. Now, let me share with you the significant accomplishments of the CSE in fiscal year 2016 and the first semester of 2017. Under the three major final outputs, number one, human resource management policy services. In 2016, we have met our target for the first indicator and exceeded our targets for the next two indicators. We have yet to determine by end of December our accomplishment for the indicator and stakeholder holder rating of our policies. On MFO2, Human Resource Records Management Service, percentage of new employee records entered within 3 working days. We have achieved all the target indicators in 2017, as well as the 2017 first semester accomplishments revealed that we are on target. On the MFO number 3, which is the Human Resource Management Regulation, we have met all and even exceeded somewhat targets in 2016. We are working towards meeting all the other targets indicators for 2017. In 2016, except for the first indicator, we have met all our targets for the next 3 indicators, and we are progressing towards meeting all our 27 target indicators. On the organizational outcome, merit and reward system in the civil service is strengthened. The CSE is only short of 1.24% under the indicator on SPMS functionality, while it has exceeded the target under the indicator on overall training feedback in 2016. For 2017, we are working towards meeting our target for the first indicator and at least sustaining our accomplishment for the second indicator. For the second organizational outcome, public accountability of civil servants promoted, the CSE has accordingly established its baseline as targeted for the passing rate of ARTA report card services. Survey. CSE met its target for the indicator on client complaints acted upon and exceeded the target for case disposition in 2016. For 2017, we have yet to determine by end of the year our accomplishment for the first and last indicators, while we will sustain our gains for the second indicator. Let me also share with you, Honorable Senator, our other significant accomplishments, specifically on 1, the Anti-Red Tape Act Report Card Survey. This is a nationwide survey conducted by the Civil Service Commission to check government offices' compliance with ARTA provisions and overall client satisfaction on their frontline service delivery. The table shows on the screen the results from 2010 to 2016. For 2017, there is an ongoing conduct of survey in 540 service offices from 10 government agencies involved in ease of doing business. Top 10 highly urbanized cities, top 10 component cities, top 10 first to second class municipalities, and top 10 third to sixth class municipalities, and 3 agencies with heavy frontline services. Government services with excellent rating in the ARTA RCS are subjected to 2-phase validation, wherein those that will pass are conferred the Citizen Satisfaction Center or the Seal of Excellence Award. Between the period 2010 to 2015, we have already awarded a total of 295 excellent service offices. The validation of the 2016 candidates have been completed and findings are being evaluated to determine which of the offices will be conferred the award. The contact center ng bayan has been established since 2012 to promote efficiency and transparency by providing an avenue for the public to air concerns relative to the quality of government frontline service delivery as provided for under ARPA. But since August 2016, the Commission has been servicing the President's Complaint Hotline, or the 8888, and we are operating it for 24 hours, 7 days a week with 45 agents. Shown on the screen are the top 10 agencies with the most number of complaints lodged with the CCB and the hotline 888 for the calendar year 2016 and as of August 2017. So if you would note, Your Honor, there are 3 agencies that have been consistent in the top 10. SSS, LTO, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and of course LRA.
Can you just tell me, what are the usual complaints?
The usual complaints, Your Honor, includes delayed action or processing of services, discourteous staff, non-observance of the noon break, and then there are also unclear procedures. While they would post a citizens charter that would tell them how many minutes or hours or days they would be able to complete the availment of the service, but there are instances when the agencies would require other documentary requirements, and the slow process, as I've said, the delayed action. Yes. Okay. And this afternoon, and thank you, Your Honor, for accepting our request that will be deliberated first in our budget, because this afternoon we will be conducting the Honor Awards program in the office of the President. And this is a program that seeks to recognize and reward state officials and employees for their outstanding contributions and achievements in the delivery of public service through the annual search for outstanding public officials and employees. And later on, our colleague from the Career Executive Service Board will also mention that we have also the Gawad SES Awards for managers. And the total shows that as of today, we have 930, and this afternoon we will be awarding more than almost 30 awardees, individuals as well as group awardees. The other one, Your Honor, is that the Philippines was a chair of the 18th ASEAN Cooperation on Civil Service Matters, and one of the milestones being the chair of the ASEAN Cooperation on Civil Service Matters during the first summit that was held last April 2017. The leaders, or the heads of states led by our President, signed the declaration on the role of civil service as a catalyst for achieving ASEAN Community Vision 2025, and this was the only document that was signed by the leaders during the first summit in April. And of course, other than that, we also have been offering learning and development initiatives to our government middle managers that would include a leadership and management certification program. This is an alternative program instead of requiring middle managers or division chiefs to have a master's degree. We offered this. It's a certification program for leadership and management. And
sorry to interrupt you. Do you have regular leadership trainings?
Yes.
Values information?
Yes.
For our civil servants, and how often?
Yes. The leadership series is quarterly. The public sector HR symposium is annually, and then the public service values program, we're conducting it regularly, and there are also requests, Senator, institution-based. You know, they want all their officials and staff to participate, so we have been accommodating, and in fact there was an influx of requests from institutions, and one of which, if I may share, San Juan City has requested already our team to also conduct for the on values program. And the competency-based HR or human resource, we've been regularly conducting this, and they come to the Civil Service Institute, and then we manage it. Now, this is part, the Pamanang Lingkod Bayani, this is part of the social corporate responsibility of the Civil Service Commission. This is a recognition program for public servants who sacrifice their lives in the line of duty or in the performance or the pursuit of the respective functions, duties, and responsibilities. The program covers all civilian employees of the government, including non-uniformed personnel of the AFP and PNP. Funding for the program comes from the annual Race to Serve fund run conducted by the CSE during the Philippine Service Month celebration, and this is the month of September. And so far we have a total of 90 recipients, and the funds generated from the fund run goes to the fund for them. We provide them 100,000 pesos for the families. And the reason that we have also provided the one single most number of recipients were the staff members at the 44. And they are also offered scholarship, at least 3 of their children, as part of our support for the families left behind by the civil servants who died in line of duty. Now, let me now present to you the actual budget utilization of the Civil Service Commission for 2016, with a total budget of 1,381,838,000 pesos, which includes 66.4 million pesos for the automatic appropriations on retirement and life insurance premium, the terminal leave and productivity enhancements incentive. The rate of our utilization was 100%. For 2017, this is our budget utilization. As of today, we are on track, 52.78%. Okay. For 2017-2018, the net comparative budget, for 2017, our budget for personnel services is 1.039 billion, and for our NEP is 1.161,850 versus our proposal. There is a variance of 11.78%. There is the amount of variance is about 122,492 million thousand, and then to be able to sustain the gains and serve the bureaucracy better, we hope that our proposed budget for 2018 should be considered, because as mentioned, as shown on the screen, we are proposing a budget of 1,910,883,000. And the NEP is 1,505,593, or a variance of 400, which is 21 less percent of the proposed budget for 2018. However, while it was less, but the approved budget for 2018 notably has an increase of 11.92% from the 2017 budget. Now, the following slides will show our plans, programs, and projects for fiscal year and the corresponding budget by program. For Civil Service Human Resource Governance Program, the corresponding budget is 68.467 million. And then under this program are 2 sub-programs, the Civil Service HR Policy and Information Management sub-program. So we have on the screen, we have mentioned what our targets for 2017. That's also the next slides. These are all our targets. And then for our civil professionalization and workplace cooperation program, we have budgeted a total of 32.981 million. And it has three major sub-programs, namely the civil service professionalization, the civil service capability building program, and the public sector unionism sub-program.
Your office, Senator.
Lalo yatang tuwa.
So because the Finance Committee has simultaneous budget hearings because we want to finish all of the budget by next week. Hopefully pass it on to the plenary as soon as possible. So we just fix. The technical people, please, fix.
Okay, thank
Sige
you.
lang, go ahead. And as long as it's audible.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Our last program, which is the Administrative Justice Program, has a corresponding budget of 6.902 million. So overall, the DBM recommended budget for the Civil Service Commission for fiscal year 2018 is 1,505,993,000 pesos, and this only represents, Your Honor, 0.039% of the total 2018 budget of the government of 3.8 trillion. So I was just saying, Your Honor, that our total budget is only about 0.039% out of the total 3.8 trillion budget of the 2018 budget. Okay, now let me share with you this the situation of the Commission vis-a-vis the stakeholders. This budget shall be effectively used to serve its stakeholders of around 3,100 offices comprising of 224 national government agencies, 4 judiciary, 2 legislature, 7 constitutional commissions attached agencies including ARM, 109 state universities and colleges, 98 government-owned or controlled corporations, for 847 local water districts, and 1,713 local government units comprising of 80 provinces, 148 cities, and 485 municipalities. And there are also about 100 local universities and colleges. Serving the entire bureaucracy is the CSC's 1,199 HR complement, distributed in 16 offices in the main office and 16 regional offices with 105 field offices nationwide. So if you look at you can imagine that we are only about 1,199. Now, let me share with you that as of August 31, 2017, the total human resources in the bureaucracy total to 1.7 million. And broken down as follows: career and non-career. The first level, we have about 360,749. The second level, 1,208,836, and the third level, or this is the career executive service officers, is 1,941. And the non-career, it's broken down as casual, contractual, coterminous, and elective officials. So when you divide it, the career comprises about 89.17%, while the non-career only represents 10.83% of the total human resource in the bureaucracy. In terms of, if you now look at the ratio of the CSE human resource complement to government HR, it's like one CSE technical staff is to, the ratio is 1 to 1,832 government employees. So there are only about 961 technical staff directly engaging over 1.7 million in the bureaucracy, giving a ratio of 1:832. In terms of sex disaggregation, you would note that under the career, it represents that their first level, there are more male than female, but for second level, there are more female than the male at 67 and 33% respectively. While the third level, there are more male in the higher positions or higher management positions at 57% male and 43% female. So again, as mentioned earlier, at the third level, there are more men than women. But if you would note out, maybe later our colleague from the Career Executive Service Board will update us on the breakdown on the third level. But just to let you know that apparently there are more non-CES eligibles occupying the CES positions than those that are CESO eligibles and CES eligibles. Okay. In sum, Your Honor, we are hoping that the recommended budget for the CSE for fiscal year 2018 in the amount of 1,505,993,000 pesos will be approved. However, it is also our fervent prayer that our original budget proposal of 1.9 billion or 404.8 million be restored. The approval of our original proposal is imperative to effectively and efficiently perform our mandate as the central human resource agency of the government in pursuing the priorities thrust of the Duterte administration. Furthermore, in the recent ASEAN Summit, for the first time, ASEAN member states acknowledged the role of civil servants as catalysts in ASEAN Community Vision 2025. Thus, as part of our commitment to the PDP 2017-2022 and the ASEAN community, we need our full budget to fulfill our mission of gawing lingkod bayani ang bawat kawani. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson Alicia De La Rosa Bala. Just like to ask, no, your proposed budget is 1.9. Can you flash the screen again? Is a budget. Your proposal is 1.9. 1,910,000,000. Ang dami kasi zero, hirap magbasa. 883,000, tama. So, recommended by the DBM is only 1.5 billion. Just like to ask you, Chairperson, which program will be affected in case your proposed 1.9 billion is not granted? Which programs will be affected?
Okay. Among others, Your Honor, one would be the ones affected are those that are allotted for our capital outlay. Okay. One of which, do we have the flash? Okay. One is the completion of our CSE records building. This is very important for the Commission, Your Honor, because we are the ones managing all the records of the government employees in the bureaucracy. And
what percentage of construction is it already? What's the status?
We have just started.
Okay.
And then
How big, ma'am? How big? How many
it-
stories? How many square
it will be
meters?
2 stories, and then the budget that was released to us already by the DBM is 25 million, and so we're also requesting an additional 25 million, Your Honor.
For 2017, 25 million was already released. So
Yes.
you're requesting for the additional
Additional
25 million for next year.
For the
Will
completion phase
for the
2.
completion.
Yes.
Will this include already furnitures, fixtures, equipment already, or just the infrastructure?
This will only include the construction of the physical structure.
Okay, so then after that, you will request also for the
For-
equipment.
Yes.
Of
So
course.
we
Okay, we will just program it, no?
yes,
So that
yes,
we know.
that's why we are facing it, Your Honor.
That's very important also because, of course, civil service, you need to really safe keep the public records, the records of all civil servants.
Yeah.
I'd just like to know, did you have them already in stored encoded in computers or
We have started
already
Yes.
automated already?
We have started, but we have not completed it yet.
I suggest you have to start it already, so that, in case there's a backup. Alam mo naman din sa,
Yes.
but it is, di naman tayo LGU eh. Pag may nanalo ang kalaban, sinusunog yung munisipyo. Di ba? So, we don't want anything like that.
Yes.
So, we just want to make sure that there is, in case something happens, that
Yeah.
there is a backup. No?
Yes.
And I suggest that you go into automation
Yes.
right away.
Yes.
No, so that we don't keep all of those records that index cards and documents that are fire hazards.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes. The second one, Your Honor, is about the retiling of our CSC main office lobby. Because since 1983, when our building was constructed, the lobby, there was no major renovation covering the basement, the second, the third, and the fourth floors. And so we thought that we should ensure that we have to make it more pleasant to the transacting public and also for our own people in the commission. And at the same time,
How much is the budget for that
we're
renovation?
only requesting 10 million, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am. Noted.
Okay.
At least kayo pag may million lang, sa iba billion eh.
Oh.
Okay.
And then yung next po, yung vertical expansion of our regional office 3 sa Pampanga po ito. Because this is one of our largest regional offices, and we used to be housed beside the provincial capital. When the government offices within the provincial capital compound were located to the new government center, the Civil Service Commission was constrained to construct a one-story building only. So funded from our income generated and with a floor area of 665 square meters. And it houses about 8 divisions with a limited space for clients. So we thought that the expansion will address the urgent need for records room, visitors and client waiting room, as well as our hearing room when we have cases being heard in our office.
Okay, just submit the, no, I'm not gonna promise that we will be able
Yes.
to give all your 1.9 billion. No?
Okay.
If you can just submit
Yes.
in order of priority,
Yes.
all of these things that you would want to be added, no, or included
yes.
in the approved budget.
Yeah.
So we will do our best to include the more urgent requirements of your commission.
Yeah. Your Honor, we have, based on your advice during the meeting with our technical staff and your technical staff, we have already submitted the priority projects and it was received in your office last September 11. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just have some questions, then probably we can already move for approval. We'll take advantage. Baka may magtanong pa eh. So, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
then,
would have separate.
yes, the CSB, the budget, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Would you have a presentation, separate or same?
We have a separate presentation, Your Honor, but we have submitted earlier the PowerPoint slides.
Okay, so we'll go to you after now. So we just finish with the civil service. So, with regard to the implementation of Populate Pay Act, I saw it in your budget that it has been adopted in 2007, so it's the 10th year already
Yes.
of the implementation. I'd just like to ask what significant changes in the frontline services of government have we achieved during that period? Because it's 10 years, so it's about time we also see what has any feedback or if the law was effective enough.
Okay. First, all government offices now have already the citizens charter that would already reflect who are responsible, the turnaround time when acting on requests, and the fees are already posted. And then second, the noon break policy has been observed in most of government offices. The third, the reported number of fixers in government agencies have been reduced. Fourth, most of government agencies have already streamlined their operations. Some have already shortened the turnaround time, including the necessary requirements.
So that's good to hear that everybody, all the local government unions and national agencies implement the no noon break right now. Well, it's good to hear because when I was, I remember when I was new in public service and I entered public service in 2001, coming from the corporate world, it was really a culture shock for me, ibang-iba. I didn't know that time who our employees, municipal employees, and then they were all loitering. 12 o'clock pa lang, nagkakanda na. Diba? Tapos maglalaksa sa SM na center point, balik nila, 2 o'clock na. 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, nilipat na. So, I hope that all of these things, we professionalize. No?
Yes.
We underwent our organization. I hope that also undertaking the same, so that what we have to tell our civil servants, that we are there not to earn, we are there for service. Yan ang civil service diba? So I hope that we will continuously remind our civil servants of their role in the bureaucracy. Next one, the Commission is mandated by law to administer report card survey, yung RCS, as a mechanism to measure client satisfaction and get feedback from government monitoring service. What is the accomplishment of the Commission again in terms of monitoring?
Can you flash the slide pertaining to the RCS?
Slide 11.
Okay. Since 2010, Your Honor, we have already conducted the survey, and if you would note in our slide, a number, most of them in 2010 there were 30. We had only about 50 agencies, so 39 passed and 11 failed. And then if you would noted, in 2015, out of the 1,000, there are 1,099 that passed and only 15 failed. In 2016, there was 982 passed and 127. So I think there are a number
significant
yes, there's
improvement
significant
because of this system.
And you know what, Senator, the result of the RCS, we usually publish it in daily newspaper. Usually for 2017, we will be publishing the results in the first quarter of 2018.
I'd like to congratulate your commission because I have noticed also that most of the civil servants, part of the bureaucracy, are conscious now of these awards, of these recognitions, which is good for the whole bureaucracy. So I hope you keep up the good work. Just like to ask, what are the commission's budget reflects its effort in intensifying campaign against red tape.
Okay. It is under the locally funded budget project.
Is that about the locally funded project of the Red Tape Act of 2007? So it's about 37 million. 31 million. 37. Okay. Just a few more questions, and then I will go to the Executive Service Board, Executive Director, Attorney Velasco Lopez. Please be ready, because I think will be more as interesting as asset meta, so make it more lively. Okay. With regards to the citizens support hotline, President Duterte mentioned in the State of the Nation address the establishment of hotline which shall receive people's feedbacks or concerns about government services. I'd just like to ask ma'am, can you please brief this committee how it is being implemented by the Commission and how does the hotline operate?
Thank you, Your Honor. Immediately after the President took oath his office on June 30, 2016, and we heard about for him to establish a hotline that operates 24 hours. So August 1st, 2016, 12:01 in the morning, we started operating it within 24 hours. And it's a three-shift program, three-shift, and we have been, originally, our contact center ng bayan, Your Honor, was only operating 8 hours with 15 call agents, now with 45, 15 per shift. And from when we receive a complaint, there are two things that our call agents can do. One is to immediately respond to the questions that are available in our database. Second, if there are more complex complaints about an agency's performance or complaints about the way they are being treated, then we will refer them to the concerned agency. And we create what we call a ticket. And then when we write the agency, we give them 5 days to respond to the concerns or to the complaints. And then if they don't comply within 5 days, another follow-up will be sent to them. Again, if they won't comply, we will now write, especially for those attached agencies, we will now write to the secretary informing them about non-response of said attached agency. But so far, we are very happy to share with you that, for example, SSS, the most number of complaints that we receive. But in terms of response and action, it's 98%. So there's an improvement in terms of the response.
I'm just curious because all of these hotlines, no, there should be prank calls. So ilang percentage kaya ano porsyento doon sa mga legitimate na complaints which are really legitimate and which are ilang percentage prank?
Let me just ano lang yung prank calls.
Tsaka minsan kasi meron din personal, di ba? Halimbawa, hindi naman nawawala yun. So, is this being identified? Kasi kawawa rin naman yung civil servant concerned if the call is personal or even political. No?
We don't have yet, we have, but it's not in our record right now, but we will provide you with the data. Okay. Prank calls, drop calls, it only comprises 22.48%. So there are more legitimate calls that we receive. But we just wanted also to share with you, Your Honor, that we are not only receiving complaints, but, you know, when we provided them feedback, they would come back to us and acknowledge that this agency has been very fast in acting on their complaints. So we received commendations, and they even mentioned the name of the person and the agency and then the branch. For example, if it is SSS, they will tell us this is in Lipa branch, and then the name of the staff, and including the head, because we have this ARTA ID. You must have observed it when you go to the government agencies. This is how big the ID now, so people would know who these people are, attending to them or not attending to them.
That's good. That's required, no?
Yes.
For all civil servants to wear. That's good. That's very big.
Yes.
Medyo, konti lang, sinaki na ng mga medyang yung teke, Yung mga medyang pa yung lalaki, sinaki ng mukha, Di ba? Anyway, you can see already it's legible. I mean, you can see it right away. Around medyo move faster, no? So because as requested by announcement, we have an award to receive. So that we will go, habang wala pang kasama, baka magtanong ba? Anyway, we decide to right sizing because we are already in the process of this is still in the committee, but right sizing of organization in government, we will in the process of discussing this and deliberating. There's about 59 government progress, government dysfunction, and improving efficiency of operations. The House of Representatives approved the motion already, while the same is still pending in the Senate. As a federal personal agency of government, do you have any idea how many government positions will be affected by the right sizing bill?
Right now, Your Honor, we don't have an idea because we have, if you remember, the government agencies underwent the rationalization plan. Started sometime in 2005. So there's still a number of agencies that have not completed their right sizing, but one of the agencies that would benefit, Your Honor, would be the Civil Service Commission. You must have seen that how small our HR complement vis-a-vis the number of agencies that we are responsible, about 3,500 agencies nationwide, and we only have right now 1,199 warm bodies. So that's probably, Your Honor, since under the proposed bill that was approved by the House of Representatives, the Civil Service Commission is a member of the technical working group. So by then, that would be one of the first things that we would be able to determine as part of the interagency.
Okay, just last, with regards to that also, that we can already move on so that we can be on the way as soon as possible. What will be the mechanism that will be recommended to be employed during this implementation, just in case it passes through the both houses, to safeguard the welfare of employees who will be affected by the program?
Under RA 6656, there are mechanisms, and I think even the proposal of the House version, there are already mechanisms to protect, especially those affected in the right sizing. And I think BBM has already mentioned certain mechanisms to ensure that those that will be affected and those that will be retained, they need to be retooled to be able to be deployed in other agencies in case other government agencies will downsize some of their employees. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Sister, concerns, probably the objections. This committee now approves the budget of Civil Service Commission and will now be forwarded to the plenary for further deliberation. So congratulations, ma'am. Congratulations to all the civil service.
On behalf of the CSC family, I'd like to thank you, Senator Ejercito, for your support to our budget request for 2018. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, next, probably Executive Director for the members who can occupy the center table. Mas excited ka, or di pa ba? Ay, naku, nasa UN pa ba? Nagdaan mo na ito, wala. Ma'am, before we continue, request for photo para please namin the civil service budget was passed. Okay, session is now resumed. We now deliberate on the budget of the Career Executive Service Board. The chairman to recognize Attorney Antoinette Velasco-Gomez, our Executive Director. Ma'am, you are now on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and again, thank you for kindly considering our request to be deliberated first. With me is Ms. Jocelyn La Chica, the Chief of the Admin and Finance, who happens also to be the widow of Art, my former deputy, and the rest of the management team. So the Career Executive Service, by way of context, was created in 1973, and the mandate is for us to form a continuing pool of development-oriented managers who will provide competent and faithful service, particularly in times of transition. The vision of the CS is such that the members of the core, who are career executives, need to work hand in hand with political leaders, the civil service or the bureaucracy, and our citizens in imbuing service with relevance, collaboration, and in a way that inspires the members. Our mission is twofold. One is that we are committed to maintain continuity and stability in the civil service and providing a link between the government and the people. And we are also responsible for infusing the members of the CS with expertise and hopefully require leadership competencies to bring change, expertise, and leadership in the bureaucracy. If we go by the PDP for between now and 2022, the CES makes a contribution to the goal to strengthen the senior civil service. So what the Civil Service Commission takes care of the rank and file at the second level in the civil service, the CSB, on the other hand, manages the third level, or the senior civil service. We are responsible for enhancing leadership in governance through capacity building that hones leadership and managerial competencies, and also form and strengthen partnerships and linkages to ensure that there is citizen centricity in service delivery and also reducing corruption. We are guided by 5 core values. I will not elaborate on them as they are quite self-explanatory. Right now, Mr. Chair, the CES includes only Director 1 positions up to Undersecretary who are appointed by the President. So excluded po yung local government unit, the judiciary, legislative positions as well. As
as well as positions in the GOCCs that are not appointed by the President. Although there are two recent Supreme Court decisions where the Supreme Court recently held that the nature of the appointing authority should not be a determining factor in identifying whether the position belongs to the CES or not. Right now, after the end of August, there are 2,681 positions in the career executive service. 56.5% of that are occupied by
How many career service?
Okay. It's in the next slide po yan. Actually, sir, 56.2% are occupied by career. So, umakyat po ng 0.6% from June of last year, but that's still a minimal increase. And we hope to partner with PCOO that has expressed interest for their officers to join the rank because right now PCOO has the highest non-career occupancy. But we have met with them early this year, and I think many of them have expressed interest. So we are just more than happy to bring them on board as well. In terms of gender, Mr. Chair, you can see that men executives have a higher occupancy rate at 56.4%, and the women are at 43%. But to me, it is a misleading figure. I have asked this back to further disaggregate kasi yung men, maraming may transgender, may bi. So we want to further disaggregate data, in fact, more accurately capture the gender placement of executives in the third level. So as you know, Mr. Chair, the CES is a rank concept. Officers are appointed to ranks, and that's where also they obtain tenure to the positions that they occupy. So on the slide is shown the corresponding rank to the salary grade or position. Sector 1 is the highest rank that corresponds to an undersecretary, and the entry rank is CESO 6, which corresponds to a Director 1 or salary grade 25. The board is the governing body of the CES that is mandated to promulgate the rules, standards, and procedures on selection, classification, compensation, and the training and career development of CESOs. Right now, Chair Alice of Civil Service is the ex-officio chair, and the president of the DAP, President Elmo Cruz, is also an ex-officio member. We have five regular members: former PMS Yusek Elahir, former NAMRIA Deputy Administrator Cruzado. We have former DNR Undersecretary Metin, now incumbent Des Bernardo of Malacanang, and Assistant Secretary Anad of the OP Appointments Office. We have
do you make use of development out of the Philippines for
training
of our civil executive board civil executive servants?
That is right, Mr. Chair. In fact, I sit as a member of the steering committee of the AP for the Public Management Development Program because to the extent that we can, we ensure alignment of the competencies for leadership development.
So it's an integral part of your operations, no?
Yes. Kaya rin po nakaupo yung DAP chair in our board.
Because they're asking for quite a big amount for construction of new facilities, no? It's a 1.5 billion building that will have convention areas, National Convention Center, and some because they cater to trainings of our civil servants and, of course, the managers and executives.
Opo. Actually, Chair, if I can bring you back to what the Chair Alice earlier pointed out, that the CSC is in the direction of reactivating the Civil Service Academy. So maybe that's the policy juncture, where in terms of harmonizing the programs. Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned, we are pleased to report to you that for 2016, we are on track. We have met all the targets. We are limiting the presentation to the major final outputs that were deemed priorities.
Just go to the more important ones because I don't think anybody will object for your reviews is not very controversial anyway. So please go.
Yes, Mr.
Just
Chair.
to the more important ones.
So I proceed to so far, let me assure you that for 2016 and the first semester of 2017, we are on track in terms of all the commitments that we have submitted to you last year. For the 2018 budget proposal, we actually have a request of 20.2 billion. So let me go to million, sorry, yeah. Sorry. Let me report this to you. This is important. The DPWH partnered with us in constructing the 3-story Career Executive Service Resource Center. So this is a center that is dedicated to hosting all the examination activities. So the assessment center is done here and the written examinations, although we are also moving towards computer-enabled and online exams. So that po yan, thanks to DPWH. So for next year, these are the outcomes organizationally and also by sector that we want to contribute to. And as I mentioned, we have 80,697,000 proposal in the NEP. That's 2% lower than our current level, and the decrease practically can be found in the PS. Because now the TBM, I think, approved the 29 million based on the fact that there are 2 executive positions in the CSB that have not been filled up for the last few years, since it is subject to presidential appointment. So we are fine with the new budget level, Mr. Chair, so we're not asking for additional money. The increase of 5 million in the MOOE, sorry, the increase here in PS for this current year is because there was a 5 million self-support fund that was placed in the GAA and it was launched in the budget of the CSB. For 2018, we worked out with DBM that it be taken out so that it's not counted as part of our agency budget. So we are fine with the 80 million, and you can see that unlike many agencies, our PS budget is lower than MOE, so we spend more on operations, considering that we only have 51 bodies in the CES Secretariat. So the rest of the slides are our commitments in terms of how we will spend the 80 million. And so I will skip them as we have earlier submitted it. We were informed, Mr. Chair, in the initial meeting with the Secretariat that there was a concern on the one audit observation report from the Commission on Audit about the escrow fund. And I would like to report to you that pursuant to the board's action on that report, we have closed the account as per advised by COA and in coordination with the DBM. So that's current already. Yung earlier concern niyo po sa digitization of files, we are correct. So all our files are digitized 100%. And that's because mas maliit naman po yung universe namin compared to CSE. So that's about it, and we are ready to take your questions.
Okay, thank you. Executive Director, I just have 2 questions. So that you will be on your way to receive your award in Malacanang. In relation to your main function, how many average applications per year are you able to screen and approve?
So on average, every year there are about 1,000 applications. And as you can see in the slide, where you sent me, the board is able to confer eligibility to about less than 200 of the 1,000. Mataas po ang yes.
Even less?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Kasi po, ang written exam, which is the first stage, 42% lang ang passing. Pagdating sa second stage na mas mahirap, 35% lang ho ang passing rate.
Wow, that's medyo mataas yung mortality.
Mortality.
That's good. At least we are able to really screen the best who are really deserving.
Opo.
At least, siguro wala kayo tulad sa NGO na nandun na yung sagot sa testing center kaya mababa ang passing rate niya. What is the mechanism employed by the board in monitoring the performance of civil executive service officers?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a Career Executive Service Performance Evaluation System that gauges 2 kinds of concerns. One is the performance commitment itself of the executive. So we go back to the agency goals and relate
the executive who rates.
Pero may subordinates din po na nagre-rate when it comes to the behavioral competencies.
Okay, so I guess there are more questions. To 20 minutes. Since there are no more concerns and the chair has no question, the chair will approve the proposed budget of Civil Executive Service Board in the committee level and will be submitted to the plenary for deliberation. So congratulations.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. ride of the budget deliberations. Thank you po.
Thank you. Of course, I'd like to ask the committee secretary to recognize the resource persons present for PCO.
Okay, good morning. For the record, this committee would like to acknowledge the presence of the following resource person. Secretary Jose Roberto Martin Andanar, Yusek Ernesto Abelia, Yusek Noel George P. Puyat, Yusek George A. Apasible from the Bureau of Communication Service, Yusek Fiducia Mia M. Reyes Lucas, Asek Florentino Y. Loyola Jr. From the Bureau of Broadcast Service, we have Rizal Giovanni Aportadera Jr. From the National Printing Office, we have Francisco B. Valles Jr. From the News and Information Bureau, we have Jose Joel M. C. Erpo. From the Philippine Information Agency, we have the Deputy Director General Gregorio Angelo Villar. From the Planning Officer Presidential Broadcast Staff, we have Dulce Amor Quintana. From the General Manager of People's Television Network, we have Dino Antonio Apolonio. From the President and CEO of IDC 13, we have Manolito O. Cruz. From the Chairman and Acting CEO of Apple Production Unit, we have Michael Dalumpines. Did I miss out anyone? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. So let's start the ball rolling. But the chair would already want to recognize Secretary Jose Roberto Martin Andanar for your presentation.
Good morning. Senator J.V. Ejercito Estrada, the Chairman, Subcommittee.
Ejercito, you might confuse me. I'm not that.
Okay. Good morning, Senator J.V. Ejercito, Chairman, Subcommittee F of the Senate Finance Committee. Before we present our proposed 2018 budget, may I introduce the officials of the PCOO who are with me today. Presidential Spokesperson, Secretary Ernesto Abelia. Undersecretary for Admin and Finance, Attorney Noel George Puyat. Undersecretary for GOCC and Good Governance and Concurrent Officer in Charge of the Bureau of Communication Service, George Apasible. Undersecretary for Media Accreditation and Relations Office, Mia Reyes. Assistant Secretary for Media Accreditation and Relations Office, Florentino Loyola Jr. Mr. Chair, with us today are the heads of our bureaus and attached agencies. Director Rizal Giovanni Aportadera Jr. of Bureau of Broadcast Service, PBS. Director Francisco Valles Jr. of the National Printing Office. Undersecretary Joel Jose M. C. Egco, Representative of Director Virginia Arcilia Agtay of the News and Information Bureau. Ms. Dulce Amor Quintana, Representative of Executive Director Dennis Pabalan. General Manager Dino Apolonio of People's Television Network Incorporated, PTNI. President and CEO Manolito Cruz, IBC 13. Chairman and Acting CEO Michael J. Dalumpines, Apple Production Unit Incorporated. Mr. Chair, we are now ready to present our 2018 proposed budget, which is a performance-informed budget wherein the program expenditure classification approach is being implemented by grouping the activities and projects under major programs or key strategies. Slide number 2. Executive Order number 4, series of 2010, created the Presidential Communications Operations Office and mandated it to serve as the premier arm of the executive branch in engaging and involving the citizenry and the mass media in order to enrich the quality of public discourse on all matters of governance and build a national consensus thereon. It is the PCO's mission to serve as a primary vehicle for conscious raising, constituency building, and social mobilization in support of the policies, programs, and projects of the President, and to serve as a tool for informing, educating, enlightening the citizenry about matters of national importance, for inspiring the citizenry to deepen their civic engagement. We at the PCOO are driven by the vision that the PCOO is the lead communications arm of the government and a vehicle of understanding for a well-informed and enlightened citizenry, proud of its heritage and attuned to global realities. Our officials and employees work towards the goal of being able to give our people the information they need to make the right choices in their lives, be it economic, political, or personal. Under the program-based budget structure, the PCOO's organizational outcome is public access, engagement, and understanding of presidential policies and government programs achieved. In order to attain its organizational outcome, the PCOO, through its bureaus and attached agencies, is committed to implement the following programs, which will be further evaluated. The Presidential Communications, PCOO proper. Public radio broadcasting. The government communications through the BCS. National printing through the NPO. Government News Information and Media Services Program through the NIB. Development Communications through the PIA, and Presidential Documentation and Broadcast Management through the RTVM. To enable us to deliver on our commitments in 2018, the DBM is proposing for PCOO a 1.351 billion pesos budget distributed as follows. PCOO proper, 256.719 million pesos. The Bureau of Broadcast Service, 370.094 million pesos. The Bureau of Communication Service, 37.852 million pesos. The National Printing Office, 10.957 million pesos. The News and Information Bureau, 129.125 million pesos. The Philippine Information Agency, 335.376 million pesos. RTVM, 210.883 million pesos. Your Honor, our proposed budget for 2018 reflects an overall decrease of 22.337 million pesos, or 1.63% decrease. For 2018, the lion's share of our department budget will go to our two bureaus that maintain a nationwide presence. The Bureau of Broadcast Service at 27%, and the Philippine Information Agency at 25%. PCOO proper gets 19% of the total budget allocation, while Radio Television Malacanang gets 16%, the News and Information Bureau 9%, Bureau of Communication Service at 3%, and the National Printing Office 1%. The decrease in the PCO budget by allotment class shows a 14.38% decrease in personnel services, which is the net result of the following. Provision for the third tranche of the salary increase, mid-year bonus, and additional year-end bonus pursuant to Executive Order number 201, dated February 19, 2016. Provision for terminal leave benefits of mandatory retirees. Loyalty award of 61 employees. Reduction in manpower complement as a result of mandatory retirement with its corollary reduction in the associated personal services accounts. Decrease of 91.53% in the personal services of National Printing Office. The NPO is given a 10.957 million pesos allocation for personal services pursuant to its corresponding special provisions in the financial year 2018 National Expenditure Program. Maintenance and other operating expenses for 2018 reflects a 14.81 increase. The single biggest contributory factor for the increase in MOOE corresponds to the 36.328 million pesos allocation to Bureau of Broadcast Service, representing the repair of communication equipment, 10 million pesos. Provision for professional fees of contract of service personnel at 24.180 million pesos. Lease of 4 photocopying machines at 360,000 pesos, and provision for inflation amounting to 1.788 million pesos. The Presidential Broadcast Staff, RTVM, was granted additional MOOE amounting to 23.480 million pesos, corresponding to traveling expenses, both local and foreign, and supplies and materials for the media coverage of presidential activities. Professional fees for contract of service personnel for its satellite office in Davao City. Repairs and maintenance of building and motor vehicles, and rental of IT and broadcast equipment. Further, additional funding was provided for PCO proper, amounting to 28.359 million pesos, representing expenditures for the hosting of the 4th meeting of the ASEAN SONRI Working Group on Information, Media, and Training at 2.931 million pesos. Additional provision for extraordinary and miscellaneous expenses of newly appointed officials at 1.5 million pesos. Provision for the salaries of additional personnel under contract of service for the new programs and projects of PCO proper and PCO Davao operations at 14.912 million pesos. For the requirements of our EDP IT division for training, subscription, and office supplies at 1.016 million pesos. An additional allocation of 8 million pesos for all ongoing programs and projects such as local and foreign traveling expenses, electricity, rent, and office supplies. Slide 33. Lastly, the Bureau of Communication Services, or BCS, and the News and Information Bureau, or NIB, were granted a minimal increase of 3.79% and 4.08% respectively. The increase in the MOE of BCS corresponds to expenses for ongoing programs and projects, adjusted for inflation, and training expenses for ISO certification. On the other hand, the increase in the MOE of NIB represents traveling expenses and supplies and materials for the media coverage of presidential activities and other mandatory expenses. The capital outlay outlay of 28.818 million pesos reflects an increase of 7.250%, representing procurement of various information and communication technology equipment, transportation, office, and printing equipment. The department is proposing a capital outlay amounting to 28.818 million pesos, allocated as follows. 5.9 million pesos will go to PCO proper, 9.738 million pesos will go to Bureau of Broadcast Service, 1.220 million pesos for News and Information Bureau, 5.0265 million pesos will go to Philippine Information Agency, and 6.895 million is allocated to Presidential Broadcast Staff, RTVM. In total, operations gets most of the budget, or 1017.791 billion, and general administration and support gets 331 million. Looking at the budget this time by program expenditure classification, we can see that public radio broadcasting program is allotted a major slice of the budget of 253.269 million pesos. Development communication program gets 243.982 million pesos. Presidential documentation and broadcast management program gets 179.307 million pesos. Presidential communications program gets 178.741 million pesos. Government News Information and Media Services Program get 97.023 million pesos. Government Communications Program gets 16.043 million pesos. And the National Printing Program gets 8.415 million pesos. Mr. Chair, may I take this opportunity to seek assistance from your committee for the budget presented does not yet reflect the entirety of our needs to implement our plans and programs, nor is it enough to assist us in reaching our goals for 2018. The PCO, being the lead communications arm of the Philippine government, has been tasked by no less than the President of the Republic of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, to generate content and awareness and communicate government's message, policies, and programs to the citizenry here and abroad. We have pushed and implemented Executive Order Number 2, Series of 2016, otherwise known as the Freedom of Information Program, within the first 100 days of the presidency. We also co-chair the Presidential Task Force on Media Security to ensure a safe working environment of our friends in the media. For the first time in history, Mr. Chair, the PCO is acting and moving as one family. We have created the Comprehensive Communications Committee, or CCC. This integrated approach ensures our presence on print, on ground, on air, and online. We have launched several forums and programs to ensure transparency and spread awareness in different fields of interest. We coined the phrase Economics to launch and assist the economic team in their Build, Build, Build program. The latter is the most aggressive infrastructure program ever to be initiated by any administration. We started airing the forum entitled Defend Republic on PTV4, again to raise awareness and ask the citizenry to be vigilant and to counter violent extremism. We also undertook and continuously update #RealNumbersPH to provide accurate and verified figures related to the government's campaign against illegal drugs. We have chaired the Committee on Media Affairs and Strategic Communications for ASEAN 2017 to include the 30th and 31st summits and the 50th anniversary of ASEAN. We have launched a free government tabloid named Mula sa Masa para sa Masa. We have increased the President's social media presence through RTVM, the Presidential Communications and PTV Facebook and Twitter accounts. The performance of the before-mentioned pages have surpassed our expectations. Each page has reached more than 1 million followers since July 2016. And these are just a few of our major accomplishments, Mr. Chair. The PCO has yet to accomplish more in the next 5 years. We plan to switch to full digital broadcast for PTV by the year 2020. By then, we will have 4 digital channels, Mr. Chair. In addition, we hope to establish our on-air presence through Radio Pilipinas in all 81 provinces. And this can only materialize through the passage of a law creating the People's Broadcasting Corporation. We have retooled and relaunched the Philippine News Agency, or the official wire service of the government, to reach world-class standards. As a matter of fact, we will have a PNA newscast online by October. We need funding to modernize the facilities and train our workforce at the News and Information Bureau, its mother unit. The Philippine Information Agency, or PIA, needs funding to fulfill its mandate and increase its online, on-ground presence. These above-mentioned programs, Mr. Chair, plus others in the pipeline, need to materialize to ensure continuity and permanence to achieve our goals and mandates and improve our government service for the people. In this light, may we humbly place on record our request for additional funding, and we pray these be granted by both chambers of Congress. That, Your Honors, is a PCO 2018 budget proposal in a nutshell, and I am now ready to take your questions.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Navarro. At this point, the Chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Nancy Binay. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. Probably, just like to ask, anybody can answer, Secretary Navarro. Can you tell us about your budget utilization rate? Because in 2016, you had a budget of 1.205 billion. How was the utilization? Were you able to use and spend the whole budget? Because we are very much concerned now in the Committee on Finance, because most of the government agencies ask for huge budgets and huge requirements, but their absorbing capacity is only so much, and they 35%. No? Sometimes they return. So just like to ask, how's the utilization of the PCO?
Mr. Chair, for PCO proper for 2016, we had a utilization of 98%. Our other bureaus went 99%, 99.45%, 100%, 93.39%, and 88%. As of June 30, 2017, this year, PCO has already spent 56.10%. So we're on track to utilize our entire fund, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. The capital outlay budget of 2017 is about 33.61% higher. No? So, which area is the bulk of the increases? Is it personnel or is it capital outlay, equipment? Can you attribute?
For 2018 po or for 2017?
2018. Yung meron natin yung for 2018.
Mr. Chair, for 2017, our capital outlay was 21 million. For proposed 2018 is 28 million po. So it's a slight increase, but most of that will go to ICT equipment. So this amount barely reflects our actual requirements for
It's not really that big now. Anyway, your proposed budget is around 1.373
yes,
billion, or an increase of about 1.63%. Anyway, you have a 98% utilization last year, so we're assuming it's not easy, no? It's not hard to defend because it's very hard because our chair of the Committee on Finance is very conscious of the utilization. So at least I'd like to commend their agency for using the budget that they have requested last year. And yeah, just like to ask, Secretary, what are the plans for the current networks, no? PTV4, IBC13, and other radio stations currently still under your office?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the question. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the question. Currently, the PBS, or the Philippine Broadcast Service, has 27 radio stations. 27 AM radio stations. 4 of these radio stations are on air. 12 of these AM radio stations are running on low power, meaning hindi po malayo ang nararating. At 11 po yung normal yung operations. Currently, ang People's Television, meron pong 28 na franchise, Mr. Chair, in all over the country. Some po ay on air, some po on air, 6 po yung ready to be rolled out, at 2 ay handa for commissioning. Hinihintay na po yung kuryente na ma-approvean ng electric utility. So we have 28. So as you can see, Mr. Chair, talagang kawawa po ang ating broadcasting.
Actually, I've seen have guested in some of the government stations. Mukhang panahon pa ni Marcos lahat yung ginawa until now. There's no rehabilitation, major rehabilitation. But I'm glad that the PTV4 are trying to revitalize. Probably you can share the committee your plans and your strategy in how you would improve the government channel network.
Mr. Chair,
Salamat.
siguro just pandagdag lang dun sa tanong niyo. Kasi I remember parang there was a plan to privatize PTV4 ba or IBC. So, are you still pursuing
Yes, ma'am.
that track?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Senator Nancy Binay. Yung sa IBC 13 po, currently ay nasa Office of the President na po. At kanilang pinag-aaralan na yung pag-privatize. We have already submitted all of the requirements for privatization. It's up to the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs to iron it out. And once umuwi na po yung Office of the President, this coming 4th quarter of this year, ipapa-bid out na po natin. Ang pinaka-baseline na presyo ay nasa 4 na bilyong piso. Ngayon po, ayon po dun sa kasaad, sa usapan dun sa IBC 13, ay 2 bilyon ay mapupunta sa PTV at 2 bilyon ay sasoli sa National Treasury. Pero nung tayo po ay sumailangin sa budget hearing sa mababang kapulungan, ay ipinanukala po nila na lahat ng 4 na bilyon na yon na base price, diretso na po sa PTV para sa Philippine Broadcasting Service. So we are really hoping that we can get more than 4 billion. So yun po yung plano. Mr.
So
Chair,
with 4 billion, Secretary General, what can we expect in the improvement of the network of the government channel?
thank you, Mr. Chair. With 4 billion, we can already implement the projects and the vision that we have for PTV. So ano po yung plano natin sa PTV? Currently, ang PTV po ay nagbo-broadcast mula sa Quezon City. Itong Quezon City na PTV sa Visayas Avenue, gagawin po natin itong Luzon Broadcast Hub. So ito po yung sentro ng Luzon. Gagawa rin po tayo ng version sa Cebu, which will be the Visayas Broadcast Hub. And another one in Mindanao, which will be the Mindanao Broadcast Hub. Currently, Mr. Chair, meron po tayong maliit na Mala Community TV station sa Davao City. And they're already producing Visayan newscast sa ngayon. And we are also doing the same in Baguio City, a local TV station there, an Ilocano newscast. Hopefully, once we have all of these 3 major hubs of broadcast centers up, or the other 2 in Mindanao and the Visayas, then we can serve our people in Visayas and in the Mindanao and in Luzon. But what we really want to do is localize the programs. So our goal is to have at least 1 TV station per region in this country, so that we can localize the programs and we can serve better the needs of our people in the different areas in our country. So that's the main vision that we have, Mr. Chair, for PTV. For Radyo Pilipinas po, our vision is to be able to place 50 radio stations in the other 50 provinces where we are not where we are not present. So, how do we do this? It's simple. Yung 5 radio station po na itatayo natin, na balak natin itayo sa buong Pilipinas para maging kompleto na po, 81, ay low-powered FM stations para mas mura po. And the programming will come from Manila para hindi po magastos sa overhead. So our main AM station is 738 Radyo Pilipinas. Our second AM station in Manila is Radyo Pilipinas DOS 915 AM. And if you happen to listen to 104.3 FM lately, Mr. Chair, that is FM2, playing the best hits of the 80s and 90s and 2000. It's a government station, Senator Nancy. So if you happen to listen to it, that's government. And I'm sure that most of our contemporaries are listening to it already, 104.3. And for the first time in history, Mr. Chair, government is actually utilizing 87.5 FM as a government radio station, and we wish to launch that in a month's time as 87.5 FM1, catering to the youth sector of our society. And this is really historic, Mr. Chair, because 87.5 around the country in the entire archipelago is still available, and it is actually assigned for government use, and that would be our emergency broadcast radio station also.
Likewise, a lot of broadcasts are using FM, the FM band already for news. Do you plan to do that also for government station aside from the regular music? How do you plan to do that? Can you please elaborate na lang?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a very good question, because it is cheaper to set up an FM station than to set up an AM station. That is why we are present in 27 provinces in the entire country. Wala po So in the 50 provinces that we are not present, we want to set up an FM radio station to cover the news and information of government. So therefore, if we can swing this by 2018 and 19, then we will have a very effective government communications platform in PBS.
Yeah, because I noticed also in the provinces, a lot are already using FM band for news, no? Aside from the regular programming, because probably it's cleaner, mas maganda yung tunog, and probably it's easier to get the youth to listen to FM than AM. Yeah, Secretary Binay.
Mr. Chair, Secretary, may ano na yung reach in terms of viewers and listeners?
Ito po yung listahan ng mga radio station po natin. Okay.
And siguro what is the target for next year?
Opo. So, meron po tayong 4 na radio station off-air na merong franchise. Ito po yung sa Batangas, Agoo, Marawi, and Tawi-Tawi. We are working on Tawi-Tawi because the Department of Defense is giving us a budget para maitayo po. The same with Marawi, tinutulungan po tayo ng Department of National Defense. Meron po tayong 12 AM station na low power ngayon. Bontok, Hingoog, Sobod, Virac, Tayog, Naga, Calbayog, Cagayan de Oro, Baguio, Dagupan, Zamboanga, Lucena. At meron po tayong 11 radio station na gumagana ng normal. Ito po yung sa Butuan, Davao, Borongan, Cebu, Tandag, Hulog, Palawan, Lawag, Iloilo, Tuguegarao, at Tabuk. A total of 27 AM franchise, but 4 are off-air. Ang reach po natin sa PTV, nung nagsimula po tayong magtrabaho sa PCOO, nasa 25,000 watts lang po ang PTV Manila, Senator Binay, ma'am. Ngayon po ay 55,000 watts na yung broadcast. But we all know that kulang pa rin yun. Kasi yung mga commercial TV stations, they're broadcasting twice our power. Now, ang reach po natin in terms of television broadcast ay ito po. Meron po tayong on-air na relay station sa Naga. Meron din po tayong on-air sa Baguio City. Meron din po tayong on-air sa Palawan, sa Cebu, Dumaguete, Tacloban, Calbayog, Davao, Davao del Norte, at Agusan del Sur. Yung ating pong mga franchise dito sa Marawi, Sibugay, Dipolo, Holosulu, General Santos, Cagayan de Oro, Pagadian, Zamboanga, Kidapawan, Gibaras, Legazpi, Isabela, Tuguegarao, Vigan, Batak, Ilocos Norte, off-air po. So, suma total, 10 ang on-air sa PTV, 10 ang off-air, 6 ang i-roll out pa lamang, 2 ay naghihintay lang ng approval ng electric company. For a total of 28 television stations nationwide. So, 10 lang po ang ating reach, Senator Nancy.
Okay. One of the reasons or one of the purposes, Secretary, and to the rest of officials of PCOO of us asking questions is to help us, no? Because we will be defending, I will be defending your budget on the plenary. So I might have to ask some questions, no? I hope you don't mind. You have to help me defend your budget, and you must understand that we have a very active, very active minority right now, or opposition. So you can expect that they might ask hard questions, no? So it's better that I ask now, so that in case in the plenary, I will be able to defend your budget. Okay? So one of which is, I'll ask Secretary later after, but the PCO blunders. We understand, Secretary, of course, there are big things, especially in the first few months. No? We do not know the setup yet, probably. But the agency seems to be handled by negative issues every so often. No? Of course, the social media is very active, opposition, the mainstream media. But, of course, the process embarrassment that we see, how are you dealing with this, probably, I would say, acts, no? That are identified some personnel responsible for this act. For instance, for example, this is which has created quite a stir, the use of one photo or a story, yung misquoted government officials. So, how are you dealing with this, and what steps are you undertaking?
Mr. Chair, siguro to be specific, i-ano na rin na natin, it's, I think yung Philippine News Agency yung lagi nagkakaproblema. So, siguro ang steps have you done to correct yung mga ganong pagkakamali?
Salamat po, Senator Binay, Mr. Chair, Senator Ejercito. With your permission, I would like to ask Undersecretary Joel Egco to give us a historical perspective of the Philippine News Agency and how we came to where we are, what brought about all of the boo-boos or the gaps of the Philippine News Agency.
Yes, please, Sir Joel Egco of the PNA. Please,
Yes.
please, you have the floor.
Good morning and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, siguro before yung sagutin, magkano ba budget ng PNA?
Sa ngayon po, 2017 is 65 million and for 2018, 66 po ang pinapropose. It's part of the NIB po.
Okay, please proceed, Yusuf Egco.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to read a brief statement on the PNA. The blunders of the Philippine News Agency are unacceptable and the criticisms are understandable. Realizing that the people are tired of hearing excuses, please allow me to share the results of my consultations with representatives of the media, the academe, and former officials and staff of the PNA, with whom I had 2 meetings last September 7 and September 14. Based on our discussions, it is clear that the problems besetting the PNA show the need for drastic changes in terms of organization and orientation. While the lack of personnel and the competence of the editors and staff is to be addressed, what remains fundamental is the organization and orientation of the PNA. After reviewing its history and that of its precursor, the cooperatively owned Philippine News Service, we now have a new vision for the PNA that affirms its roots in the media sector. A state-funded news agency that has editorial independence and exercises public information along the lines of the highest professional and ethical standards of journalism. In the coming days and months, you can expect the concerned officials and staff of the PCOO, the News and Information Bureau, and the PNA to undergo training on public information and the normative standards of journalism. As early as now, we acknowledge that adherence to public information and editorial independence includes openness to covering issues that may end up criticizing government policies and programs, even to the point of scrutinizing the decisions of the President and other senior government officials. Realizing the need to improve the writing and editing of stories, the training of PNA personnel will also be conducted, not only to enhance their writing and editing skills, but also to deepen their understanding of public information and editorial independence Mr. Chairman. And now for
What steps have you undertaken to correct all of these blunders?
yes, sir. First,
You must understand that the Philippine news agencies, it will reflect whatever actions or blunders or bloopers that have been done would reflect that have a reflection on the President and the administration.
yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. If I may again, I'll just give a brief background of where the problems of the PNA started. So it started as the Philippine News Service in the Marcos era. Just as you said, the PNA is among the main news agencies of government that has been left and I repeat, no? The PNA was neglected. So when it was, it started out as the PNS, and in 1973, March 1, it was launched as the PNA because it was bought by the government, I think under the former Senator Kitatag, the Bureau of National Foreign Information Office. It was bought from the private sector, and yun po, napunta na siya sa government. However, since the beginning, wala po siyang clear staffing pattern, wala po siyang organizational structure na masasabi actually. So, those are one of the things, that's one of the things that we're trying to address now. Okay, so moving forward, tuloy-tuloy po yung PNA until 1987, after the EDSA Revolution. EO 297 was signed on in July 1987, which organized the PNA. So the PNA was placed under the News and Information Bureau, and the NIB, since then, was under the Office of the Press Secretary. So dito po nagsimula because mula po noon, pag may umaalis na staff sa PNA, talagang hindi napapalitan. No? According to Severino Samonte, the first former editor-in-chief of the PNA, talagang nung nag-retire lang po siya ng 2003, at saka lang may nakapasok na ibang empleyado. And when it comes to the online presence po ng PNA, please take note that the website was put up in 2003. Hindi po nagalaw until the Secretary of PCO now, Secretary Martin Andanao, came in, at yun po, nag-institute po siya ng mga reforms. So doon po nagsimula yung problema actually. 2003 up to 2017, for 14 years, wala pong movement yung online ng PNA. So, binago na po, zero presence po siya, even sa social media. High-tech na ang environment natin, pero itong funded na government agency, kawawa po talaga. Kasi victim of neglect, talaga pong napabayaan. So, moving forward again, ang ginawa po namin, first yung mga bubus, mga got investigated.
But who were responsible? Were they new employees or old employees? Ano ba nangyari?
Problem po is, wala na pong ganong new employees dahil puro old employees po yun nandun.
Okay.
So, some of them are going
No, but who are, sino ba dapat ang mag-upload, no? ng mga postings? Do they need their approval? Do they need heavy approval, heavy agency before allowing you?
Yes,
So, paano nakakalis ko itong mga ito? Nakakaya talaga.
Opo, yes, Mr. Chairman, and in fact, we investigated three senior officials of the PNA, one of whom already opted for retirement. The two others are still undergoing investigation as we speak, Mr. Chairman.
Kasi nagkaroon na naman ng just last week, there was another blunder, no? Pati yung parang
For the whole year of 2015, and for the first 6 months of 2016, there were 406 errors at the same time. So talaga pong per month, the average was 25 of the same error since January. This is editorial instructions, no? Yes, to employees. Kaya nga, problema, na-publish na. Na-publish na, okay? Yung pong sinabi, ano ba talaga, who has the final authority who to post? Dapat na lang, kahit sino sa kanila, pwede na lang. Dapat may final authority. Yes, sir. We, right now po sa mga report institute natin, magkakaroon po talaga ng gatekeeper. No? So, as I said po kanina, as I explained it, wala talagang kalat-kalat po yung staffing niya ngayon. Basta nandun lang executive editor, tapos all the rest are senior editors, walang specific functions. So, we're just really in the project of first house cleaning and then setting up the house po talaga.
Mr. Chair, so ibig sabihin mo hanggang ngayon wala pa kayong gatekeeper?
Wala po. Before, they used to have. Yung po kasi pag sinabi gatekeeper, somebody who's responsible of the stores that should come in and the stores that should come out. So ngayon po, isa po sa pinopropose namin yan, we should set up and appoint a gatekeeper po talaga, probably editor-in-chief. Kasi siya naman ang mag-monitor. Sorry, you said with the budget that you are asking, siguro naman, yung gatekeeper in probably the system that you have, we expect that you will be able to fix this because you are representing the President of the Republic of the Philippines, you are representing the government of the Republic of the Philippines, and the blunders that your agency is committing is yung mga blunders na blunders just totally unacceptable. Yes. Yung impression of people of the government, talaga magaling gobyerno natin. Kung ganyan. So, what steps have you undertaken? Parang wala pa ako nahihilin eh. Besides, all of those committed a blunder, were they at least, were they sampled? Any disciplinary action have you done? So that there's no repeat? Yes, Mr. Chairman. First, yun po, as I said a while ago, meron po tayong mga na-sanction na. We filed, we are, as we speak right now, two senior officials are being investigated, and are they put over? Yes, sir. Hindi naman kaya sinasadya na sinasabotahe. Yan na po. Ito na po tayo sa angle. Kasi parang masyadong amateur, parang magpapaliga. For example, yung dole. Paano naman, Diyos ko naman, paano may lalagay naman ng pineapple, pineapple, na tayo naman yata.
Mr. Chair, parang hindi tanggap-tanggap na hanggang ngayon wala kayong gatekeeper. I mean, after all that brouhaha, dapat first thing na ginawa niya is to set a person in charge na lahat ng ipopost, siya lang na kung kailangan kayo yung gumawa nun, you should have done.
Meron na po. Right now po, Director Gigi Antay, who's part of the editorial board that we formed immediately after the discovery of the first movie. Si Secretary Andonar po, he formed an editorial board that who will vet, and part of the editorial board. So we're now vetting each and every story po that comes out of PNA.
So paano nakalusot itong last week?
Okay. Yung pong last Friday movie, I'd like to inform the chair that I was just appointed last Friday also, when that happened. But the secretary told me about the appointment Thursday, so the night before. Yung pong after ma-discover itong last bubu, we directed the PNA to i-download ko na yung ating website. Because marumi pa eh. Yung migration from the old to the new, yung po kasing old website, may old dashboard, and now we introduced a new website, hindi siya compatible na una. Only last August 7 naging compatible. Now, nung lumabas po itong bubus ito Friday, down po ang server, pinaimbestigahan po natin sa internet IP natin. And they found out that someone with the particular IP address ay attempted to hack into our new system. So these findings po, dalawa yung report na pinadala sa atin, I requested the NBI to investigate, to determine if there was really an attempt to sabotage or if there was sabotage even before the discovery of the last bubu. So as we speak now po, nag-investigate po yung NBI Cybercrime Division. They started the investigation last Thursday. We invited them to Kenny. And they found out vulnerabilities po talaga. So we are waiting po ngayon for the recommendations of the National Bureau of Investigation kung paano po patitibayan, palalakasin yung IT system ng server ng PNA. Because we found out po, the first time, sabi nila, user, vulnerable talaga. Sabi ko, bakit? You know what the password they used was as easy as 012345. And ang mabigat doon, gano'n na kadali, nakapaskill pa doon sa work ng office. So that was for everybody.
Did you do anything, safety measures?
Yes, sir.
Safety measures? Because, I hope you understand. Kami po, sabi ng Pangulo, we're part of the majority. We support the President. Especially yung kanya pong bill. We want to succeed. He's our President. But things like this are just unacceptable.
Yes, sir.
Kung matama din na kami, ako po, marami akong buko, tao lang din. No, we are all human. We all make mistakes, di ba? Ako, paborito din ako, mamaya, we'll go with that. Paborito din ako ng mga haters ni Presidente, di ba? But, coming from a Philippine news agency, which is supposed to be the face of the President, the face of the government, this is just unacceptable. Di ba? How many people do you have? Ilan ba ang nasa inyo? Nasa ilalim nito? Paano nakakalusot ang mga ganito?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I share your sentiment. The blunders were unacceptable and we're doing everything within our powers to correct those things. So right now we have those PNA, we have 97 personnel assigned to do different tasks.
Ako magpabubo ako, okay na kasi ako talagang may hawak, purpose eh. Di ba, minsan, naanto ka, nasa kotse, di ba? Kaya lang, alam mo naman yung mga haters, yung mga tanong nga ako, Presidente, isang butas lang yan, palalakihin yan.
Yes.
So, we might say, President, I don't see any reason bakit makakalusot. You just need about 5 or 6, even 4, or even 3, that would have the password probably, so that for security purposes, dapat sila lang ang authority pa. Yes.
Mr.
Kasi
Chairman,
ba, pwede editorial, pakapasa-pasa, pero mag-upload dapat, dalawa lang kayo, tatlo.
Mr. Chairman, tama po yun. Yun nga po nung na-discover namin itong huli. Yun na po yung ginagawa natin ngayon. Magkakaroon talaga siya dapat na accountable officer lang who holds the password lang to our system. Kasi we were told that even before may gustong baguhin sa system, phone call lang po eh. So nagulat yung mga investigator. Sabi ko, pati yung NBI, paano nangyari yun? Itatawag mo lang at pwede mo nang galawin. So, ganun po ka-vulnerable before, but right now po, with the help of the NBI and the Department of DICT, talaga pong pinapalakas natin, pinapatibay po natin ngayon yung system ng
Mr. Chair.
PNA.
Yes,
Yes,
out of the 97, ilan yung may access to post?
ang IT po natin, well, Madam Chair, right now I'd like to admit that we have a person of interest who is at the center of the investigation right now because that if had access to that had the long access to our server before the migration from the old to the new. So the investigators now are centering on the culpability of that person of interest.
Pero siguro moving forward, ilan yung balak nung magkakaroon ng access to post?
Kailangan po, isa lang po, maximum of 2 siguro ang kailangan lang may alam nyo. Just in case magkaroon ng problema yung isa, magkasakit, whatever, talaga po 1 or 2 lang, only the 2 of them should know the passwords and should have access to the system of PNA. Before po, everybody, for everyone to see the password. Talaga po, yun, parang free for all yung password niya.
So, nagawin mo pa parang
Mr. Chairman, ngayon po,
sorry to castigate your this because
okay lang po.
the agency has been an embarrassment. Kawawa ginagawa naman itong mga the ones, si Presidente, si Secretary of the Bank, si Secretary of the Bank, the ones on top are the ones who are being embarrassed and put on the bad light, no? Nakakaya talaga. Philippine News Agency, you're supposed to be the government's main communication arm, but you are the source of a lot of miscommunication and rumors. Yes, we have to fix that. How will we give 1 billion if we will expect this kind of rumors and blunders? Yes, Mr. Chairman. Opo. Nakakaya, kaawa naman itong mga superior mo. You're not the one taking the blame. It's your superiors, it's the president. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I understand that. That's why only 2 weeks ago I was appointed here by Secretary Andanar to supervise the PNA. Maybe because of my experience in the media. So he saw it fit that sabi nga niya sa akin, Yusek Ego, you supervise PNA, naintindihan natin niya. So I'd like to assure you, sir, Friday lang po ako nag-start 2 Fridays ago. So I think this is my 10th day lang. No, I'm sorry since you're just new to the job, but I'm really disappointed with how your agency has been performing and has been putting the whole administration or the government for that matter to back by. Yeah, so we're expecting that you shape up, no? Because we're giving so much, we are the ones giving the budget. We will expect also the same kind of services from the agencies. Mr. Chairman, you can, I assure you of that. In fact, apart from the editorial board, we convened actually an advisory council for the PNA, composed of veterans of PNA, silang Bencal, Garing Samonte, Fred Glapo, and we invited Professor Danny Araw from UP Macro. So meron na po kaming mga plans and programs now that we're going to present to Secretary Andanar. So including po yung improvement ng staffing, the appointment of an editor-in-chief, the gatekeeper, additional editors. We are in need of additional editors po. I understand there are very highly competent editors at PNA. However, they get to edit 100 stories at kulang po sila. So as a former editor, naintindihan ko po yung pressure nun. But so that's why we're at I think you have to fix yung sa yung gatekeeper, yung balance. Yes. Yung who will be lost to authority to post. Kasi social media, napakaba rin, pag na-post mo, nakalabas na. Yes, that's true. You have to have a system, device a system, so that all of these blunders will not happen again. Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have actually the editorial board functions as a gatekeeper actually, no? So there are 5 or 6 sets of eyes now looking at the operations of the PNA, no, the in and out. Maalala ko lang po sa those who will have authority, di ba? Review thoroughly, yung sabi nga nila, magpapalit before you click, napakabalitan ko ng social media. Isang segundo, kagat-kagat, di ba? So before you click on the button, you really have to make sure, probably read it 5 or even 4, 5 times before uploading anything that because you're representing those are statements from the President of the Republic or any position of the government. You really have to be careful in what you upload. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I take note of that, and I'm going to cascade that down to the least member of the PNA that I can assure you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, thank you. I just want to ask probably Yusek Ego, good morning. Our presidential spokesperson is here. The National Union of Journalists of the Philippines specifically urged you, in particular, to address the issue of another controversial fake news. I'd just like to ask, what actions have you undertaken to make sure that the false information of fake news issue is addressed?
Actually, the purview of PCO itself was supposed regarding what can I defer to Secretary Andanar?
Okay, Secretary Andanar, because the National Union of Education urged the Secretary and the spokesperson to actually, but Secretary can answer this issue.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. A couple of weeks back, we initiated, as the chairman of the Information Committee of the ASEAN 50 a roundtable discussion on fake news and delivering the right information to the public. So we gathered the information ministers of the different ASEAN countries here in Quezon City, and we all talked about and we all suggested and we gave the best practices that we have to the members of the delegation. So that was the first time that fake news was even discussed among ASEAN members. We are already summarizing the different best practices of every country, from Indonesia to Laos to Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and it was also actually a good discussion because we all realized that fake news is a problem that all of the ASEAN countries are facing. Now, as far as legislation is concerned, we support the move of Senator Joel Villanueva to hear this issue about fake news. And as far as PCO is concerned, we are already drafting an activity that will talk about fake news through a media literacy program that we are going to be bringing down to the grassroots level, Mr. Chair.
Do you already have a budget for that?
We are supposed to use the PCOO proper budget, Senator Nancy Binay.
You want to ask?
Yes, we will. Yes, we can. But definitely, we have already asked an amended, actually budget, a proposed budget of about 245 million additional budget for the PCO proper, and this will include the activities on fake news that we will bring to the entire countryside. Thank you.
Okay, before we continue, the chair will acknowledge the presence of Senator Subiri. Sir, we have maybe one. Senator Subiri here.
Thank you, Sec Martin. Of course, Secretary Abella, nice to see you, sir. And to the gentlemen and ladies of the PCOO, I think questions on the errors in the PNA have been asked already earlier, and I'm sure they've been satisfactorily answered. I don't want to berate the point. We support, I'm an ally, I consider myself an ally of the administration. We support the President. We want the programs of the President to be put clear front and center in public attention, hindi lang yung patayan, hindi lang yung bad news. And that's the job, I believe, of the PCOO. And when there are blunders in the PNA, it affects also our ability to be able to speak out and help the administration. So we really need to make sure that we put more good news out there. And my point being, you said, Abella, you're doing I would like to say, you're doing a very good job in
Thank you.
Yeah, on answering the difficult questions that media throw to you. And believe me, it's the administration led by a leader that is out of the box, whose style is, and we know him, being from Bukidnon, we've been his neighbor for many years. And he really is unorthodox in his methods. You put in some sense of sobriety and on all things that are being taken up and thrown at you. So I congratulate you for that.
Appreciate that.
But what I find a waste lang, gentlemen, ladies, kasi in the last few days, we've been looking at the budgets of the DOTR, the budgets of the DPWH, the budgets of Vince Dizon in BCDA, and when you see all the plans and projects of these departments, my gosh, we're going to move into a Singapore type situation in the next 5 years. Ang ganda. At yung nakakapagtaka na hindi masyado natin nakikita ng masang Pilipino, yung mga plano at programa ng administrasyon in the near future, the next 5 years. And kami talagang tulala nung pinakita sa amin ni Secman yung plano ng mga connector road that will bring down the traffic in EDSA by connecting FLEX and NLEX. Ano po yung sinabi niya? 15 minutes lang ang biyahe nyo. So compared to now, which is 2 hours from Balintawak to Makati. And then yung tinatawag na Clark to Manila Railway, hindi na po North Rail kasi ano daw yun, bad word daw yan pag sinabi mo North Rail. So it's now the Manila Clark Railway, and then the Southern Railway. One is being funded, the north is being funded by Japan, and the south, I believe, is China, all the way down to Batangas City. Tapos yung road networks reaching up to Baguio na matatapos na in the next year or so. This has to be put front and center, like the PCD, yung kanilang Clark Green City. Ang ganda-ganda ng developments. And I think they're going to start groundbreaking the new airport. And it's a beautiful airport, nakita ko yung design. Yung mga railways, alam mo sa transportation, expert namin dito si Senator JV. Hindi lang yan expert sa train, expert sa karera. Nakita ko sa newspaper kanina, nanalo na. Parang bumangga ka ba? Anyway, but my point is, these are beautiful projects. And I know the President kasi sometimes he gets fixated on the drug problem, he gets fixated on the Marawi issue, peace and order. Si Presidente, dyan sa Malakas, peace and order. Dapat sana ma-promote pa natin yung mga secretaries dito sa field of the transportation, communications, ang ating plano sa highways. Para sa ganun ay buhay tao kasi, we get our share of critics. Kaya pag umiikot ako, lalapitan ako, ba't ganun si Presidente? Ganyan. Sabi ko, hindi naman, tignan nyo naman ang mangyayari sa susunod na 2 taon. I guarantee you, yung build project, talagang uunsad yan at talagang gaganda ang ating mga infrastructure programs. So my question is, remember we discussed this before, we need to put up good news in terms of infrastructure because we have a very sound infrastructure and finance management team. Yung DBCC, napakagaling nila. Pernia, Jokno, Sec Dominguez, you have Secmar, you have Sec Tugane, and the rest of the team that's working very hard. We have to put these programs in front rather than all the bad news that we see. Pasensya na lang sa ating mga kaibigan at kapatid sa media, lalo na sa top 3 media, fortunately, hindi masyadong na-highlight yun, yung mga breaking ng mga projects na ito. So, I think it's your job now, Martin, to really promote the country in a better light in spite of all this negative publicity that we get on the issue of human rights. I think we're forgetting the other programs of government, which I'm not saying you're forgetting it, but parang that's my feeling na in the daily news, nasa business section na binabasa na, ganun pala kaliit. Sabagay, hindi nyo kasalanan ng mga media outlets yun. But maybe we can make an appeal. Your office can talk to the networks, the TV networks, the radio networks, and the print media on asking some time for these developments. Sayang. Nasasayang na. I mean, when we left the other day, talagang uplifted yung spirits namin. Nakita namin may pag-asa. Pwede tayo maging Singapore. Luluwa ng traffic. Pero ngayon kasi kahapon, 2 hours ako tayo, nakakita yung Senate, grabe yung traffic. So, hindi na-highlight ng mga developments that in the next year or so, and you have to remember, I think end of 2018 is the opening of the connector road, SLEX and NLEX. Let's harp on that. Dapat, pag ini-interview kayo ni Katuning, o ni Kabayan, o ni sa ibang Mike Enriquez, sabihin mo, pero, Sir Mike, gusto ko lang namin sabihin na sa susunod na taon, bumukas na itong connector road, gaganang NEDSA kasi dadaan dyan na gusto papunta ng north, pwede na gumamit itong highways na ito. So, that has to be put in front challenging for the administration. Can you comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Zubiri. As a matter of fact, every week the presidential or the press briefing room, led by spokesperson Abadia, they do have a weekly guest from the cabinet that who expounds good news and good projects of the government. We do that every week. In the case of Build, we initiated the Dutatonomics term, which has become a buzzword, and we have actually had about 7 Dutatonomics events already. It started here in Manila at the Conrad, about 2 of them, and then we had with the British Chamber of Commerce. We also brought it to the World Economic Forum, One Belt, One Road, and there's another one coming up in China. We have also promoted good projects by the Department of Energy by using government media. Whatever resources we have within our reach, which is PTV, Radyo Pilipinas, Philippine News Agency, PIA. And while we are promoting government media and making all of these government media agencies work together for the first time, we are also mindful of the fact that we are building the platforms while promoting government communications. So sabay-sabay po natin itong ginagawa. We've built our social media platform, Presidential Communications, and we have 1 million followers. PTV also has 1 million followers. But I do take note of the importance, Mr. Chair, of being able to deliver the astronomical good news of this government. Again, I of course, hindi naman po natin din hawak ang private media at meron naman silang freedom of the press also. That is why, Mr. Chair, we are asking for an additional budget for next year, especially for the PCOO roadshows, because we are not using private public relation companies here. It has not been our practice. We have been warned by the President na we have to make use of whatever. We are the PR of government. So therefore, we need to build the communication platforms of government, PTV, Radyo Pilipinas, PNA, PIA, including presidential communications, because ito po yung pamana natin sa ating mga kababayan, the next generation or the next administration that will take over.
With the budgets of Senator Zubiri, I get the point of Senator Zubiri. You know, there are so many good things, no, accomplishments of the administration and plans, no, but it is a reality that bad news sells and good news is really hard to sell. So you really have a tough task on the PCOO on how you will be able to sell the administration's programs and communicate to the people the plans. So, but we will support you on this, no? Because we want the president to succeed. He is our president. So I'm hoping that you, especially in social media right now, at least mainstream media has accountability. Ang problema, social media has no accountability. So probably we can discuss this later on. Probably,
Sa social media, malaking bagay yan, Chairman, kasi social media naman, anyone can go into social media. Just wag na fake news, ha? Allergic kami lahat, whatever political creed, color, or political party that we are in. Galit tayo sa fake news. Pero yung sa social media platform, you can reach millions pag binoost mo yan, eh. When you boost it, you can reach millions right away. You know, the problem of traffic, dapat ma-address yan. You should have a few social media how do you say that, movers that will talk about the connector road, the planned metro rail. Alam mo, hindi masyadong ano yung metro, yung subway, hindi masyadong, alam namin may subway, pero yung mga tao sa mga kababayan natin, tanay mo doon, naglalakad sa EDSA, ano, alam niyo ba, magkakaroon ng subway? Ano yun? Anong subway? Kailan ba yun? Hindi nila alam. My goodness, imagine, we're going to finally have a subway in 5 years to connect Quezon City all the way to this airport, dadaan pa ng BGC. And then yung plano ng Fort Bonifacio dun pag-decongest ng BGC sa kanilang expansion program ng highways at connector road to the SLEX. Ang daming mga gagawin ng gobyerno. You can chart it up. I'm not teaching you how to do your job, partner, but you know, I think we can at least give a little advice. But you know, you can chart up these developments and then ilabas ko sa social media. Di ba? Traffic kagabi, pero ang balita ay ng gobyerno ay bubukas na third quarter ng 2018 itong connector road ng SLEX at NLEX, gagana ng EDSA. Or grabe traffic dito sa BGC, pero balita daw meron ng expansion ng Lawton Avenue at magkakaroon ng rampa papunta ng Skyway. Pwede niyong gawin yun, tapos bits and pieces. I know this because we do this in the Senate. Our social media teams take bits and pieces of our words and phrases during our hearings on different topics. Boosted yan. So you do it, we compartmentalize it. So these projects should be highlighted. Yung Clark Green City, sobrang ganda. I mean, so I'm just giving some information. Nasasayangan ako sa mga developments na ito, hindi na-highlight. Ang na-highlight ngayon, mga protesta at yung violence na nangyayari in our streets, you know, in Marawi and all that. So even the rehabilitation of Marawi, you know, and I'd like to take this up, Sec Martin, because I'm from Mindanao, and we're stakeholders in the presidents from Mindanao, your families from Mindanao. The stakes are high for us that we need to succeed in the peace process. We cannot have a situation that there will be a breakdown in the peace process, especially with the larger armed groups of the Philippines. The only way to do that is, the only way that could happen is a deterioration of trust between government and these people, and the people, the Bangsamoro people. So it's very important now, during the rehabilitation of Marawi, that we convince our brother sister Muslims, that we have a plan, that there is a plan of action. Hindi dapat tumayo Yolanda. Di ba po? Yung Yolanda, tumatayo pa sila ng bahay. It's been 3 years na since Yolanda. These people are different, they think differently because initially, hindi na sa kanila nagalit sila sa gobyerno dahil inaapi yung mga kapatid natin Muslims. Pero kaya kailangan, importante dyan, na we have to win their hearts and minds. And the PCO will play a big role in winning their hearts and minds. So, we have to continuously also, alam ko malakas yung radio programs sa Mindanao. I know, Radyo ng Bayan malakas dun sa Mindanao and other stations. So we really need we need to be very careful with our messaging in the coming months and years on the development of Marawi and the peace process itself. Kasi ano yan goodwill measures, goodwill building yan goodwill acts of goodwill. So yun lang, Secretary. I have no further questions for the PCOO. Again, I don't want to relate anymore the PNA. Yung Dole Philippines yun. Taga-Bukid nun, tsaka sa taga-Bati yung logo na yun, hindi Dole. Nagulat ako pagkita ko. So, ayusin nyo naman yun. Diyos ko, ano ba yan? So, I'm sure, I don't have to belay the point, I'm sure people have gotten mad at you, and you're doing something about it. Because I know Secretary Martin's not going to just take this sitting down. So yun lang, utilize the social media platforms, very strong platform. Wag lang fake news, boss. Less, maybe, ang criticism sa Duterte social media group is yung online trolls and yung harassment, tools for harassment. I think it should be packaged differently. I think the social media groups that support you should not talk about the good news. It shouldn't attack like members of the Senate or members of those who criticize, I think we should focus on the good news. Sana kung mapakinggan nila ito, na dito naman tayo sa good news na ang dami. Ang dami. Huwag tayo sa defensive, offensive tayo ng magagandang programa. Diba? And then all the rest will follow. I hope you agree with me, Secretary Baya.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Secretary Boy, for your sentiments. That's why I think the PCO has a very challenging task. No? Again, good news is really hard to say, but you have to be really innovative. That's why I asked the plan for PT4, the other government stations. You have to improve and make it saleable. You have to make it more attractive, especially for the youth for them to watch. No? Because usually, before, talagang we have to be, we have to honest about it. Probably, the railway station will be the last station that you will watch. Diba? Totoo naman yun eh. Tapos yung matulog, yun ang gusto mong mag-read up sa PT4. So I'm hoping this time that with the innovations and the improvements that are being done by the PCO under Secretary Mandanao, you will make PT4 as exciting and probably as interesting as the other major networks. So I'm hoping that you proceed that in the coming year, is improvements in the PTV4.
Tsaka developmental, Chair. Developmental. Alala ko sa PTV4 dati yung kay Jerry Geronimo, yung kabayan, ano yung pangalan ng show niya? I used to watch it kasi yung ating show niya, pwedeng developmental yung program sa lalo sa madaling araw. Ano ba yung pangalan mo?
Ating alamin.
Ating alamin. Talagang hindi tayo millennial. Talagang tayo, Gen X at baby boomers. Ating alamin, hindi alam ng mga batang dito. So, it was a great show and I was a big fan of that. Every week, may pinapalita sa yung duck racing, goat racing, and then how to make it viable. Yan, maganda yan. Developmental, di ba? A program like that in PTV4, early morning, maraming mga magsasaka, mga isda, matutuwa dyan. Thank you, Chum.
Okay, thank you for those opinion. Siguro, just take this again. Kasi it's very prevalent. It's what Secretary Mandanao, it's not only a problem, it's an international problem. No? So I'm hoping that UNGC will be able to address this. But the problem is there are perceptions that sometimes PCO, no? I hope you understand that I have to ask you this. Then for sure this will be asked by our colleagues who are in opposition. How does the PCO respond to perception that it is one of those agencies that churns out fake news in the pending administration? So, we have to be ready with these kinds of questions. Secretary Mandanao.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look at the PCO through the lens of a former broadcaster managing a few agencies that deal with disseminating information. If we watch PTV4, the audience will know that there is no fake news on PTV. If we listen to Radio Pilipinas and all its 27 radio stations, AM and the FM stations that we have, you will not hear fake news on Radio Pilipinas, which is, by the way, getting so much traction because of our reprogram of Radio Pilipinas 1. If you happen to talk to a Philippine Information Agency director or staff in the provinces, which, by the way, is in charge of the on-ground communication for developmental communication, you will not hear any fake news from the PIA.
I think with regards to TV, radio, print, there's no fake news. The problem, I think, in social media. I think that it is where, especially the opportunist not here, we would have wanted to ask her because she finds the stigma subject of attacks of those who are really of the critics, the high critics of the president. Actually, for information, Secretary,
people, even our allies, to practice to state. No? We don't have to go down to the level. Di ba? So, China, yes, sinabi mo yung Peru, we have to be more development oriented, no? Positive, no? Siyempre, minsan, tao lang din tayo. Kahit ako, nag-ibigod din ako minsan. Tao lang din tayo. Hindi pa nalas pala. No? Tao lang tayo. But probably, siguro, I will have probably Senator Johnson to answer some questions on how they will improve, no? On, lalo na sa social media, no? I understand that you will be making use more of social media practitioners, accredited social media practitioners to be able to go to Malacanang. So, probably tell us a little something about why you wanted to back social media bloggers, practitioners.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Chair. The idea of having social media practitioners or bloggers cover the president or be present at the press briefing room was born out of an announcement or a response that was made by the president to the question of a blogger, RJ Nieto. When they visited the president last year, Mr. Nieto asked the president if social media practitioners can actually cover the president, and which the president said yes. So, being the head of the PCO and hearing that statement that was recorded and was played on social media, we immediately called for the stakeholders and asked for this event that we call All Media PH to be held at the University of the Philippines para pag-usapan nga itong possibility of inviting social media practitioners dito sa Malacanang. And so we released Department Order number 15, giving a very lenient rule for social media bloggers to apply. But just for the information of the chair and the body, wala pa nag-apply na bloggers sa Department Order at nakabutan na ho siya nung meeting namin with the Malacanang Press Corps na magbibigay po yung NPC ng kanilang version dito sa Department Order kung paano mag-accredit ng bloggers. So for now, wala pa rin nag-apply na bloggers po. And with the issue kay ASEC Mata Uson, nagkaroon po kami ng agreement. Actually, siya mismo nagsabi na ang kanyang Facebook page ay sa kanya lamang at kung anong sasabihin niya ay kanyang sariling opinion at hindi po ito reflective ng PCOO. At kaya meron siyang disclaimer to. At sabi niya, and she really insists that ganun po yung magiging sistema. But then again, there's also a debate, Mr. Chair, that if you're a political appointee, do you stop being political? So, we all know that ASEC Matahuson is one of really the staunch supporters and allies of the President who would fight tooth and nail for the President. And we give her that. And kahit na po marami nang po na kay ASEC Mota, left and right, binabasa, etc. At meron ng mga hashtag fire mota na lumalabas, she still continues to fly with the President wherever the President goes, and especially in sensitive places like Marawi. So that only goes to show that ASEC Mota enjoys the trust and the confidence of the President. Nagkaroon na
is she the one handling the social media team of the President?
Hindi naman. Yeah.
Hindi po. She actually is the asset for social media, but we also know that her strength really emanates from the 5 million followers that she has on Facebook. And as a matter of fact, we also had a discussion already with spokesperson Abelia, and Mota, myself, and Assistant Secretary Bang Garcia about the complexities. And of course, marami po kasing kailangan tingnan na interest. Of course, we have to protect the interest of traditional media, and they're here as professionals, and that's what they do, to cover the president. And also we have to also serve the needs of the SOCMED followers of the president, and most of them they follow MOCA. But we came to an agreement that every time MOCA joins the presidential trip, na dapat po talaga yung binibigyan ng priority sa paglabas po ng balita ay yung traditional mass media po.
Siguro, Mr. Chair, ano lang din sa issue nga kay Muka. Kasi parang ang hirap to sa...
Where is the asset mo, by the way?
She's in New York.
And you're with the divisions?
With Secretary Cayetano po.
Okay. Still back because one of my colleagues was still single. I was looking forward to seeing her.
Oh, parang sa female member of the Senate. Parang that is not becoming.
Okay, my colleague is also followed more topics. May ako to ask questions.
Kasi diba parang hirap i-separate ng MOPA na private citizen and MOPA na asset. Lalo-lalo na, I mean, how can yung Secretary Andanar fight fake news kung may mga instances na nanggagaling mismo sa isang asset yung fake news? So, I guess yun yung magiging dilemma mo is how would you balance things?
Salamat po, Senator Binay. Meron na po kami napag-usapan.
Okay na. Okay, proceed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
But actually, my asset more was, her being very strong.
attacks being launched against her. And probably her thing is her loyalty to the president. At least, alternative media, probably if you can just push more on the good side, on the good projects program of the president, that will be better probably.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, for the suggestion, and I will take that up with Assistant Secretary Mo Caruson.
And don't get us wrong, I admire her for her, for being strong enough to withstand. These people are the same haters naman eh. Those people who hate the president hate us also. They don't even look at what we are doing. Ganun talaga yun. Whatever you do, they just don't like you. Alam naman natin kung sino sila, di ba? I don't have to name names, but nakikita naman natin, di ba? Si Malo at ni Ganon, yung mga yun lang naman yun. But anyway, siguro probably before we end, I just like to ask you, Tabela, if we know for a fact that our president is unorthodox, out of the box, he's different. But how do you, I know it's a tough job for you. I know you're in Malacanang. I know the palace is probably one of the toughest jobs is to be the spokesperson of the president. But how do you interpret president's statements, and how would you know that when he's joking or not? Because whatever the president says, that is should be considered state policy already.
All right. First and foremost, what my marching order really came from him, and he said, "You don't have to be with me every day. All you need to do is really listen to what I say." So basically, what I do is I try to find a consistent thread. I try to get the consistent thread of what he has said, and basically, he's quite easy. Meron na po siyang tema, unang-una yung comfortable life for all, tapos yung kanyang campaign teams. So I usually hew to that. Yung pong ginagawa natin. Yung tungkol naman po sa pabiro, basically, not that many of them called me out on this, said, no, that's not very good science, I'm science, but Lucy Lagat, the new DSWD secretary, said, give a take on the president, said, alam mo, we really have design, we're sarcastic, we're exaggerated, and so, and there really is a nuance of humor there, which, having been born and raised in Davao, I can usually tell where he's coming from. And but basically, if I want to say when he's kidding, and he'll also tell when he's kidding or not anyway. But ang mahalaga is to be able to find the thread of truth, yung consistent takbo ng kanyang sinasabi. Doon po binabate. So basically, I listen to him if you're asking me. So pinapakinggan ko po siya, at doon ko po binabate yung mga sinasabi ko.
Thank you, Secretary Abella. I think you have one of the toughest jobs, and I commend you for also doing a good job in spite of the situation.
Maraming salamat. But basically, it's also I have to give back to the president, to my principal. Ano po siya, malinaw sa kanyang gusto. His intentions are very clear. So,
and probably that's one of the reasons also why the president, what he did with the Filipino people, is that he is honest.
Yes.
What you see is what you get. I think the people are already tired of politicians who want to look good. Ipatapogi lagi, di ba? Mabuti na ganito, di ba? Di ba nila bumura minsan at least, totoo. Di ba? As long as he commits to spend $8 billion for the next 6 years, I think we will be in good, we'll be in a better situation. Basta ituloy lang niya, lalo nang kahit ang sabihin niya, may recommend the PCO, you have a very tough task ahead, and I hope that you will be more innovative this time. It's really hard to share good news. That's a given fact, but it's up to you. You have to be innovative, you have to be unique, and you have to innovate so that you will be more repeatable and saleable, especially to the youth. So, meron lang ako there's just happy to be here about to end a case concerning in the National Meeting Office, probably everybody from the legal department of PCO, meron ba dito? But I'll just read it anyway and probably give it to Secretary. My office
meeting is and all the others involved in the case. But I'll just give you this. Anybody can answer or regarding the case?
The Director of the National Printing Office, Mr. Chair, Director Jojo Valles.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Director Valles.
Yeah. It started last year when there was that news brought out in a tabloid that there was a alleged anomalous transaction happening in the National Printing Office, wherein the name of Assistant Director Attorney Pros Castañeda was mentioned in that report. Then the Secretary of the NAR asked me what we are going to do. I strongly suggested to him that dapat magpa-imbestiga ang PCOO para makita what's the real truth about that issue. True enough, the PCOO, through the legal department of under then USEC Tandang, conducted an investigation and recommended that it would be that issue will be brought to NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation. Then I understand that there was already a resolution, a result of that investigation, recommending for the prosecution of Castañeda et al. For the violation of anti-graft law. I understand it was already submitted to the Ombudsman. That's
okay, as long as there's an action already taken by your agency. Okay?
Under Secretary and Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. But before we end this session, I'd like to thank the gentlemen from the PCOO. Thank you very much, Secretary Donar, Secretary Abella, and the other heads of the agencies. Thank you, Senator Binay. We missed our buwan because sayang, kakulay pa naman kami. Diba? Uso pa naman ito ngayon. But anyway, as the chairman of the subcommittee of the finance, I now the budget of the PCOO and its attached agencies is hereby approved. And we will now be forwarded to the plenary for further deliberation. So thank you very much. I beg your indulgence and understanding because we have to ask that those sometimes have questions, and you can expect because we have a very, very active minority and opposition. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies.